Hi everyone, welcome back. I am bringing you another layout in my October daily-ish album. And I am just documenting these photos from our little photo shoot that we had at our work to promote our Halloween market. And Imola was asked if she could dress up for the photo shoot as well. So she dressed up as a little witch, and there was a little doggy dressed as a pumpkin, and then my boss and my co-worker, they dressed up as a dinosaur and a unicorn. If anyone doesn't know, I work for a company that runs markets and I do their social media and marketing, so we always have a lot of like seasonal promotional things happening. So this particular photo shoot was to go out in the PR packages, and I just had to document them because, of course, it was Halloweeny. And then what I decided to do is, because the photos were actually quite bright and happy, I'm going to make this layout basically a rainbow layout. I have one big photo that's going to go on the right, and then three little photos that's going to go on the left. I took that rainbow checkered paper and I made that overlap the pages to make sure that it sends the message that these two pages go together, especially because I had the idea that I'm going to stamp my title on vellum, and my title is going to be the unicorn, the witch, and the dinosaur. So like the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But obviously, like it's just like a bit of a play on words. But that piece of vellum, which I'm going to stamp just here in a minute, is going in between. So I wanted to set up my page first to make it show that these two pages are together and that they are meant to be seen as one, even if they've got the little page in between. So on the right hand side under this photo here, I am just going to do a little flip up, and I'm going to have my journaling space underneath. In this album, I like having a combination of typed and written journaling, and I tend to always do this in every sort of seasonal or mini album that I do, because I like having my handwriting in there, but I also like having typed journaling because it just gives different vibes, you know. So for this particular layout, I am going to handwrite my journaling, and I chose this, my apologies, I chose this matching rainbow paper from the Doodlebug Designs collection that I have been using, and I'm going to do my journaling on that. I'm taking this little critter dress up cutie paper, I don't know what you'd call it, but I'm going to put that on the underside of the flip up, and I made sure that there's a little blonde girl on this paper, and she's dressed as a princess, maybe a fairy princess or something, like a princess witch, and she's got a little wand. And I made sure that she is scented, because she reminded me of my daughter, and it's actually, that icon is one of the reasons why I got this entire collection to document, because there was this little blonde girl. Now I'm just going there ahead and I'm creating my little flip up, and when I finished my flip up, I thought I might actually do a bit of ink splatters on this page. Now, I'd already stuck down my photo, so I covered that up, and then I went in with some gold ink splatters. I'm using my Winsor & Newton ink, and I'm splattering those. I have to add a bit of water to that ink because it's quite thick, but it creates such beautiful gold splatters. And I'm carefully covering up my photo there and adding some splatters. And then I'm also going in with some, it's a Dino, is it? It might be a Dilutions splatter, and it's actually red, but it does give an orange vibe next to the orange strips that I've got in this paper on this layout, and so I thought it would be okay to use it. I'm going back in, I'm just adding some more intentional gold splatters because I thought that there were some spots that I really wanted to splatter and it just didn't naturally fall there. So I'm faking it till I'm making it. And yeah, so once that is done, I'm going to set this page aside to dry, and now I'm going to work on my stamping. I'm going to pull out some coordinating colors, and you can't tell, but I had already stamped this phrase onto a scrap piece of paper just to make sure it fits, and I have not stuck, but I'm using that little oh my goodness, paperclip, is that it? Not really. Anyway, I'm using a paperclip to hold my vellum over the top of this paper that I had already stamped, meaning that I'm able to line it up and stamp it properly so that it doesn't look too bad. So for example, in the original, I had actually stamped the whole phrase a little bit towards the bottom, and so I just moved my vellum up a little bit, which you will see when I take it off, and then it centers it a bit more. The other change that I wanted to make is I wanted to write dino on one line and saw on the next line, but then I forgot about that, so moving on. So I am stamping these just on that vellum, and I am using inks that match that rainbow paper because these are the colors that came in this collection anyway, so it worked out well. Now I'm not using an alcohol-based inks for the stamping, which means it took a long time to dry. So if you do something like this, set it aside for like an evening, maybe even more, because it's on vellum and vellum is plastic, and yeah, it will take a very long time to dry, and it did, but I didn't touch it. I put it aside and I didn't touch it, and I'm happy I did because I love how it looks, but it just did take forever to dry. Now I'm sticking down these 3 little photos on the other side. I did wonder whether I should stick them over that orange strip that I distressed before, but I decided no, I wanted them on the white to create a bit of a stark contrast there. I'm using this little wood veneer camera to be the base of my little pulley tab, and then I'm going in just taking a bunch of the little sticker pieces that I got from the Haunting collection from Traci Reed, and also other collections that I'd printed. I think mostly it's Traci Reed stuff that I'm using here, and I'm creating 3 little clusters. In each of those clusters I'm adding that little label maker strip, which I actually got from Diane from Dearly D, which was great because it added a little bit of texture to my layout. And so that is how my little clusters look. I also paired each cluster with a little wood veneer leaf. Now I'm going on, I'm just adding some final touches. I wanted to put a phrase up there, but there just wasn't enough space, so I'm just creating a little extra tiny little cluster because it was a bit white for me. I'm just using these 3 little lollies because my daughter is holding a bag of candy. Then I'm adding my journaling, putting that spooktacular little flag on the top there, and then I'm going to go ahead and write my journaling and just write all about why we had the photo shoot and how excited Emma was and how nice it was for her to dress up as a little witch. Then I'm going to add my date, and then this layout is going to be done. This is actually the last video I filmed in my October daily-ish album. I will do a flip through, but the last few layouts I was just in so much pain in bed, and because pregnancy doesn't suit me, guys. It does not suit me. I don't like it. So I could only really scrap for about 10 minutes at a time before the pain set in, and so it took like 2 days for me to do the final few layouts in my album, just because I had to keep going back to it, and it was just a nightmare to film and having to pause it so much. So I didn't film those, but I will do a flip through for you to show you how I finished off this album. And then with that, I'm going to add these little enamel stickers of the little pumpkins. I use them throughout my whole album, so I thought it would be nice, and I'm just adding them in the coordinating colors, and I'm also going to pop on some of those little stars as well, again in the coordinating colors, to add a little bit of texture to this page because it felt a little empty for me. And with that, this entire layout is done. Thank you very much for joining me and watching all of my little October videos. I always appreciate you coming and looking at my videos, and I love seeing your comments and responding to them, and seeing what everyone loves about the different aspects of these layouts. So thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. Goodbye. I will see you all again very soon with another video, and I hope you all had a fabulous Halloween. See ya!